I wanted to go in the military from my earliest memories.
My grandmother used to tell me, join the Army and see the role of Uncle Sam. It was more than just seeing the role of Uncle Sam, it was a privilege to serve.
The perfect matching of wanting to serve plus childhood dreams to be a part of the Air Force.
I come from Central America, where my two brothers and I ate ants to survive. I got to the United States. I was 16 years old, homeless in the streets of Las Vegas. And when the Air Force gave me an opportunity, I was trying to literally save my life. The ROA was able to take that time to look at my specific needs, my specific future in the military, and take care of me throughout my journey. If you would have seen me running in mud in Central America, you would have not predicted that my ID card was going to open the door of the Pentagon.
The Reserve Organization of America, ROA, is the only national military organization which solely and exclusively represents the reserve components.
The ROA, in terms of the citizen warrior, goes all the way back to our founding as a nation with the Minuteman. Fast forward now 100 years. We are on the cusp of some very challenging times.
America, and in fact the free world, is facing unprecedented threats.
With Iran possibly months from being able to produce a nuclear weapon.
Officially, the U.S. doesn't take sides in the dispute over Taiwan.
But Mr. Biden also warned that the United States would respond if Russia continued what he said were, quote, harmful activities.
We cannot go to war without the reserves.
We've been called up more in the last 20 years than the history of the Strategic Reserve.
At least since 9/11, they've turned into an operational reserve.
Since the 9/11 terrorist attacks, the National Guard's job has changed dramatically, now an integral part of the American military.
Original history was to have a reserve force in case you had that conflict, but now we're using them for everything.
The U.S. confirms it's deploying new military resources to treat patients with COVID-19.
Over 60,000 reservists were called up for COVID, the largest in-country call-up in history.
About 43% of the total military is in the reserve or the Guard. The Pentagon itself has told us the usage rate is not going to go down.
The manning levels that we need within the budget constraints requires this shift into more and more citizen warriors.
The policies were not built for a reserve and guard used at this level that we're seeing right now.
And so as we look towards the future, ROA has a critical role in supporting that citizen warrior.
Now we're an all-services, all-rank organization. We can speak for all of the reserves. 4 or 5 years ago, we went ahead and voted to expand our membership to include enlisted.
The ROA was the Reserve Officers Association, and it had a counterpart, the Reserve Enlisted Association. Both merged. They needed to change their name to Reserve Organization of America. Everyone is included. That is critical for growth and critical to be productive in the future.
The Reserve Officers Association started in 1922.
140 officers who came home from World War I, brought together by General of the Army's John Blackjack Pershing. He said, "We all know that another war will come." And of course, war came to America.
A date which will live in infamy.
And because of ROA's work in the interwar period, General Marshall had about 100,000 Army officers to build his new army on.
In 1950, President Harry S. Truman signed our congressional charter
to protect those freedoms that we as Americans hold dear through a special emphasis on citizen soldiers.
Was really an opportunity for citizen warriors to advocate on national security issues.
Back in the early 70s, the Coast Guard was planning to get rid of their reserve. ROA, they were able to work with Congress to appropriate and allocate the money to keep the reserve going.
We have the ability to walk here into the Minuteman building and talk about those issues with Congress.
And we're number one, Constitution Avenue. We're right across from Congress. We're so close that we can be a primary advocate for all reserve component issues.
ROA appreciates the opportunity to testify today. I will address certain bills that apply in particular to our reserve force.
ROA has taken the lead on these things, and we're respected. We have the VA asking ROA to be part of the discussion on certain topics.
ROA has improved health care for members of the Reserve and Guard. It has improved the readiness of the force by advocating for additional funding and the purchase of equipment so that members of the Guard and Reserve have what they need.
There are other organizations out there that help the Guard specifically. There's other organizations out there who have Reserve and Guard as a piece of their overall mission. But for anybody who's brand new, I don't care if you come in as E1 or O1, there is nobody else in the entire world who can handle those questions for our Reserve and Guard.
Tonight, Georgia's National Guard medical staffers are arriving on the orders of Governor Kemp.
For the pandemic, they had put people on orders for 89 days. 89 days does not give you the benefits. We wrote a letter to then President Trump and said this isn't right. They need to be on 90-day orders so they can take advantage of the benefits that we have. President Trump wrote back to ROA and said, you're right. This is an inequality, and he made them change the orders from 89 days to 90 days. Now that's a great win.
What is an untold story is that there's a 20% plus unemployment rate for our reservists. Some companies right now, what they do is they focus on a specific job. Okay, this person in the military is a infantry, they hold a rifle, that's their job. How does that equate to the civilian world? Well, you have to have a bridging strategy, and that's what ROA and the Citizen Warrior Coalition are fighting for. The service members that actively serve in the reserve components today, they are a combat multiplier. They're drug-free, they're healthy, they have health care, they have education benefits, they are primed to be successful.
I would like to see more employers hire reserve component members or Guard members because they are trained, they are loyal, they are smart, and they are educated in more ways than I think employers sometimes give them credit for.
One of the challenges of this historically high use of the Reserve and the Guard is that people are leaving their civilian job to serve at unprecedented rates. ROA is working on tax credits for employers who have members of the Guard and the Reserve in their workforce.
We're launching the Reserve Employment Portal, designed specifically to link reservists and guardsmen with employers that are embracing a dual career path.
ROA's unique law center is managed by Navy Reserve JAG Captain Sam Wright, a recognized expert on military employment and reemployment law. Available on ROA's website, it is the only law library focused on Reserve and Guard legal issues, including USERRA law.
We have so many things that we need to do to support these folks, and we're going to have so many new programs that are coming up.
The first ever reserve-focused mentorship program.
Another unique ROA initiative is our Stars in Schools program.
When little Johnny or Susie's mom deploys or father deploys, we want to ensure that their teachers, their coaches, their principals know and to give them resources and education to help those children.
Every person in the military should belong to a professional organization, and I think ROA is that professional organization.
They're a family. They're my family. Everyone brings a different piece of the pie to the table.
We've been around for 100 years, providing for national security. And we're embarking on a second 100 years. And we want to do it better and smarter.
ROA has played a vital and long-lasting role, and we will continue to do so, and we need to continue to do so.
The country needs ROA. The serving reservists that are out there, they really do need ROA because we're their voice. And we've been able to make really good progress, and we need to continue to do that.
It's time for us to step up to the plate, dig our heels in, and say, hey, it's our turn to take the mantle, pick up the torch, move forward for the next 100 years.
If we do it right, which we will, ROA is going to be bigger and stronger than it ever was. It has to be.